Hey, I'm Rebecca.
I'm Katie.
And this is our review. Today we're going to talk about The Cruel Prince
by Holly Black. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't read it, then just, we're warning you now.
Click off the video.
I liked it. It was a good... I enjoy it. So, The Cruel Prince, the first book in the series. Did you like?
Yes, I really enjoyed it. I did. I didn't know if I would, to be honest. We both just kind of picked it up, right?
Yeah, it was a while ago I read it though.
Yeah. Did you think you would like it?
Oh
when
yeah.
you first started reading it?
Yeah. Well, I like anything like fairy and shit.
Yeah, same. I really like fairy stuff. Anything to do with fae is
fairies, yeah.
so cool. Especially, I don't know if it's just because we're Scottish or what, but like,
maybe, yeah.
the thing I really loved about it is how Holly actually goes with the traditional sense of fae, like all the old sort of like Irish or Celtic tales, I think, of fae are all this idea that they're like mischievous little like evil creatures. And some people tend to go more with like the romanticising fairies, but she did not. She was like, no, the Cruel Prince. And I was like, yes, yes. Yeah. Some people were talking back and forth about whether this is a new take on fae, but it's not. This is actually like the traditional, which is why I really enjoyed it. There's so many twists and turns in the plot that's just like... And I love that, like, the covers. The covers are beautiful, first of all. Can we just talk about that? And also that they tie in. So do you want to do like a summary if you can?
Well, the first part is just like them in school, just kind of living with this is Tyron and Jude, by the way. They're like the main characters. And then like, you know, it's just them dealing with Carden and his wee posse of people, and they're all dickheads to them. And Jude's all like, I want to be a knight because, you know, she wants to be in the court and she wants to, you know, be with all the powerful folk. But then Madoc, her adoptive dad boy, is like, no, you can't be a knight, you're not ready. So then she goes and then fights people in the wee tournament, gets angry at Carden, and then he yells at her and then she yells back, and that was quite funny. That was a bit. And then Dane, he's Carden's brother, so he's like the next in line for the throne kind of deal. There's like 6 siblings or something. So he's the one that's like most favoured for the throne because the king picks them, it's not like who's the oldest. And then Dane comes to Jude and he's all like, I want you to be my spy, and then I'll give you like a geese, which is like a... Did you say geese or geas? Geas?
Geas, like a GS, like from Code GS. It's probably not meant to be like that, a geas, right?
Yeah, so he gives her one of those that like stops her from being commanded by the fae, so like they can't control her anymore because they can do that to humans.
Yeah, this is one of the things within the lore of the book that fae can glamour humans. The fae can't lie and humans can lie, and a way they can get around that is they can glamour them to either see whatever they want or to do whatever they want. Yeah. And Jude wants to put a stop to that because... Yeah,
because they have to wear like rowan berries and all that. Like that's like charms to not get charmed, but if like they get taken off then like they're fucked. So Dane gives her one of those and then she like becomes a spy for him to like help him get like the throne and to make sure no one's trying to kill him, and it's a whole thing. So then she joins the Court of Shadows, which is his spies. Which,
by the way, I love. Can we just like... I love... If I was a part of this universe, that's what I would want to be doing, is be a spy in the Court of Shadows. How cool. Even the name.
Well, I mean, would you want to work for Dane though? Because Dane's kind of ridiculous.
I wouldn't want to work for Dane though, but I'd want to be with the ghost. I love him. Him and Carden.
Yeah, they're really cool. I love them.
They're so cool.
They're made up of the roach, the ghost, and the bomb.
My man, Ghost. He's my favourite.
The ghost, he's so cool, man. I love the bomb, she's cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
They like train her and everything, and then she does all like this spy work, like spying on people. And like at the same time she's like kind of falling for Locke.
Yeah, Jude, yeah.
Jude, yeah. Locke's like trying to like court Jude, and it's all like, oh, that's kind of cute, you know, and he's being nice and everything. But then like Tyron's being a bit sketchy on the side. Tyron and Jude are twin sisters, and then, you know, they're just being sketchy, and then Jude's like, why are you being so weird? And then she's just like, oh, I've got a secret suitor person. And then Jude's like, who? And Tyron's like, oh no, I promised I can't tell you. And then it's a whole thing.
Don't like Tyron.
I don't like Tyron either. So then Tyron's all like, oh, he'll propose at the Coronation for the next king, which is in like a month. And Jude's like, oh cool, as long as you're happy, you know. And then Tyron like watches Locke like flirt with Jude and everything, and they like, you know, they make out and everything. It's a whole whole thing.
Poor Jude, man. Poor Jude.
Yeah. And then during all this, she still has to deal with Cardan and his pals being dickheads. She kills Valerian, who's Cardan's friend. He like went into her room to stab her, so then she fought back and stabbed him, and then he died, and that was that. And I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, throughout this whole thing there's like an undercurrent where Cardan, Locke and their gang of like friends really are like the popular sort of people.
Yeah.
Imagine it's like a high school, right? They'd be like the popular people that are gorgeous and they're a bit of bullies. That's kind of what seems to be happening. So he's one of the ones that's been really quite mean to Jude as well. So this was her finally taking that back and being forced into a situation where she feels like she has to kind of protect herself. Right?
Well, she did, because he was like strangling her on the floor.
It's like self-defense.
She stabbed him with a knife.
Yeah.
I mean, he deserved it.
Well deserved,
yeah. He was a dickhead. And then after that, it's the coronation, and the coronation is like a big event. Like everyone goes, everyone's there. And then at the coronation, she's like dancing with Locke, Jude, and then Locke's all like, "Do you love could you love me and everything?" And he was like, "Even if I hurt you," and then she said, "If you hurt me, I'd hurt you back." And he was a bit surprised by that, and I was like, "Why are you surprised?" It's Jude, like. Jude's mental.
She's such a headstrong character. I love her. She's so cool.
Right, and then about 10 minutes later, Locke goes up to Taran and they're like, you know, and then you find out that they're a thing and they're getting married. So then Jude's all like fucking heartbroken and shit, which understandable. Her twin sister just fucking played her.
Absolutely.
I was so pissed off.
Same, yeah. I was like, Taran, if there was any redeemable thing about you, gone now.
None.
Completely
fucking
gone.
horrendous. I can't stand her.
Oh my word.
I can't stand her at all.
The drama, man. The drama. Oh no.
Right, so you're already like fucking annoyed, right? And then like you're at the coronation, so Jude can't do anything about it. No, I don't know if she would have at the time, like if like, the coronation didn't happen.
Yeah, I think she was just kind of heartbroken and depressed.
I would be as well.
Yeah,
what is that? Honestly.
Her twin sister of all people.
Like identical twins. Like
choosing this boy over her own sister.
And like letting the boy like fall for Jude.
Okay, yeah, because Locke knows that like he's playing both of them, and Taran is aware of what's going on. He says to Jude later on that Taran knew about it the whole time. He was just testing Taran's love for him. Like, what sort of my dude? That is not the way. Like, you should not be trying to test anyone's love for you anyway. Just ask them outright if there's a problem in your relationship. But to sort of see how much he was willing to get away with Taran, he's like, "Oh, let me just go court your twin sister real quick, and if you know grovel for me and you feel like upset about it, then I'll be happy and know that you love me because you're upset." Like, what? What is that thinking, man? So stupid.
I think his whole thing is like he likes to be dramatic and he likes stories and like gossip and all that, so he just makes his own, like instead of waiting for other folks.
Man.
It's horrendous, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like Locke either.
Right, so we're at the coronation. She's angry at Taran and Locke, which is, you know, fair. And then like it comes to the actual coronation where the king is going to crown Dane to be the next king, which, you know, you're like, okay, that's fine. And we're all on Dane's side at this point, you know, Jude's on Dane's side, and you're like, yay, Dane, woo! Right? And then Belkin, he's the only other son?
He's the eldest son.
He's the eldest son, oh damn. So it's like Belkin, Dane, Cardan, and then there's 3 sisters, I think. So like Belkin's all like, I want the crown, you know, it's not great.
I'm the eldest, I should have the crown.
Yeah, Belkin's just a dickhead, to be honest. He challenges Dane for the crown, and then Dane's like, nah, and the king's like, I'm not going to give you the crown, so there's no point in challenging him, you know. The king like takes it off, you know, ready to give it to Dane, and then he gets stabbed? Or does he stab the sister first? Someone gets stabbed, and then they die, and everyone's like, oh my god. And then the other sister gets stabbed, and then Madoc stabs Dane. Yeah, Madoc stabs Dane, and then Jude's in the crowd like watching this, so she's like, what the fuck, Madoc? As you would be, 'cause your dad's just killed your king. And then
there's such a great lead up to all this,
it's
though,
the
right?
whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole book is like Especially like the first half, I know I was just sort of reading it to see where it was going to go. I loved the Fae, so it carried me through it. But there's a large chunk of the book that is all this like the wee popular crowd being nonsensies, and then Jude falls in love with Locke, and that's such a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And then for her to be broken-hearted, you find out Taryn and Locke have been together this whole time, and then all this happens with the crown. Like, and it's been this sort of slow build-up throughout the book, and it's just like, it's so dramatic, it's so good. It's such a great payoff.
And like, to become the king, you need someone else from your bloodline to crown you. So like, Bilkin can't just kill all his family and then make himself the crown, because someone else from his bloodline has to put the crown on his head. So like, he's like yelling at his dad to be like, put the crown on me, and his dad's like, nah, because you just killed my other children. And it's like, it's the whole fucking thing.
Also, Bilkin's like the bad one of the lot. Like, you don't want him to be the king.
Well, I mean, I don't think any of them were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was particularly cruel though.
Yeah. So like, you know, all of the siblings are dead apart from Bilkin and Carden, but Carden's like not up there, he's like away in the crowd drunk somewhere, as he is.
As usual.
So then Bilkin's like, someone go find Carden, and then Carden like runs away into like hiding, which, you know, I would as well if, you know, my brother's gonna fucking...
There's a bloodbath going on, don't want anything to do with that, just let them hash it out.
Yeah, everyone's looking for Carden, and then Jude finds Carden, and then she like takes him to where the Court of Shadows that stays spies, where they like hide in the palace, because they've got like secret tunnels and stuff. Then she keeps him there, and she's just like, cool, I can sell you to Dane or something. And there's this whole like section where she's like trying to work out what to do, and then the rest of the court are like, we could just kill him, and then we could just do all this, and Carden's just sitting drunk like, what am I doing? It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess. And then she goes back to Madoc to like play up the part of like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what's going on.
He's now at this point, he wants the crown for himself to try and get it for their little brother, Jude's little brother, Oak. Because
Oak turns out to be Dane's kid, so then he's part of the bloodline.
the crown can be put on his head. But he's also theoretically Madoc's child, so Madoc's like, well, hey, I can have my own puppet child, and I can put him on the throne and rule through him. But Jude kind of puts a spanner in the works.
And then she duels Taryn for, you know, disrespecting her honour, which I would as well. I'd fucking killed Taryn at that point.
Yeah.
And then she gets yelled at, and then Taryn kind of gets off scot-free, even though she was a bitch and a half. And then she still marries Locke, which, first of all, what?
Taryn, honey.
Like, he's not good enough. And Madoc tells her, Madoc's like, I don't think he's good enough for you, but go nuts, 'cause you're not going to listen to me. So she does, off she goes. The end of this book, Carden becomes king, Bilkin's in like jail, like Jude's like his seneschal, which is like, I guess, like a right hand person for the throne.
It's such a good twist though, like the end, there's like a moment where she kind of tricks Carden and ends up making him become her puppet king. So she's going to be the one really kind of ruling the world and setting up the other two books, but Carden's going to be the face. What did you think about the different characters?
Well, I like Jude sometimes. Sometimes she's a bit like...
Oh, I love Jude, that's so interesting.
I like Carden, even though he's a dick in this book.
Yeah, I love Carden as well.
I don't like any of his friends. Any of them. None of them are nice.
Yeah.
The only thing I like remember from this is like Taryn and Locke being fucking assholes. Taryn, hate her, can't stand her a bit. And Vivi's cool, she's a bit weird though, she's a bit like off in her own head.
That's what I really loved about it. See, when we first read this book, like forgetting everything about the other two, I loved that it was the three sisters, Taryn, Vivian, and Jude. And I loved how different they all were. Like, they have different, I think they're varying levels of fae, right? Just because of who their parents are, it seems.
Well, Taryn and Jude
grew
are completely human.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing into it, like, no fae in them at all. But Vivi's half, because the mum was human.
But yeah, because that's what I quite liked, how different they all were and how they had complicated relationships. Like, even though Vivian's the one that's the most fae, she was the one that wanted nothing to do with the fairy world.
Yeah.
Whereas Taryn and Jude were the two that kind of took to it a bit better.
Well, I think they were young when they were taken, so they don't remember the human world at all. But Vivi had I think she was 9 when she got taken, so...
Yeah, she had a lot of memories
there.
I
remembered most of it.
Would have nostalgia for things. What would you miss?
What about the human world?
If you got taken.
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
I will find you.
TV, and then like all the food and stuff, because they don't like have like, you know, Chineses and pizzas and all that.
The food, yeah. I miss all the food. There is a part in this book actually where they're talking about like them describing gummy worms and things like that to Carden, and I was like, that's so funny.
Yeah, they don't have shit like that.
Having to describe like sugar or candy to like for sweets to someone.
And they don't have like showers and stuff like that. And they don't have bathrooms.
It would be such a culture shock. Just in general, it would just be a crazy culture shock.
At some point, Jude was all like, I'm very thankful that they gave me like a chamber pot, and I was like, did the Fae not like go to the bathroom?
I'm sorry.
Did they just not? I was so confused.
Everything's just filtered through their skin or like... One thing I found really funny is they have tails.
Only some of them have tails.
I kept forgetting that they, especially I took a bit of a break between reading the Cruel Prince and then into the Wicked King and the Queen of Nothing. I read them within a few days of each other. But the descriptions of the Fae, I completely forgot, like them having horns and things like that. It was just like came out completely out of left field because I'd almost entirely forgot. I just assumed they were human-like. But with different rules that came from a different land. Nope. They just look entirely different.
Madoc has green skin.
Yeah, right?
It's
like,
so weird.
what?
It's really cool. Madoc. I like Madoc even. I like Madoc. Right? That's just
That's fair. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Orianna's a bit weird in this book. Oak's quite cool. Just a wee
So
kid.
Madoka and Orianna are their mother and father.
Yeah. Kind of.
Kind
They're
of.
like adopted, I guess.
The ones that raised them.
Yeah.
But did you like the sort of bullying aspect of this? Like, did you like Carden when you were reading this? Take away these two. They don't exist currently. Did you like
When I was reading this one, I didn't like him because like halfway through is when all the royals die. So then I kind of like Carden like just before that. I guess from when you find out that Balekin like whips him and stuff. From there, I was kind of like, oh, because you know I'm empathetic.
Yeah, you feel bad for him.
Yeah. So I guess for there I was kind of like, oh, he's not too bad. And he kind of did stop like Valerian and that from like killing her, which I mean like it's not doing much, but it's something.
I quite like Carden just because I loved the back and forth between him and Jude. I thought it was really funny. Like it was one of the most compelling things to me about this book. Yeah. Whether you think they hate each other or what. Yeah. There's just such a tension, but I'm a sucker for that. I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like every moment where Jude hates Carden or vice versa, I felt that. Like, yeah, I don't like you either, you nonsense. But then every time they like, he would do something nice, or it seemed like there might be more to the character underneath. I was like, yes, this is what I want. The way that they love is different. The way that the Fae love in these books.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if that was going to be more of it with all of the relationships, Locke and Jude, and then later on Carden and Jude. I didn't know if I would maybe eventually actually truly fall in love, only for him then to be a nonsense because of their standard of love, right? I wasn't sure. But I ended up not like that at all. He just was
so
kind of
a
sweetheart.
You
You need to get to the halfway point in the first one. Especially if you're interested in the action and the kind of fighting for the crown aspect of it, that only really starts getting underway, and boy does it get underway, and then it just ramps up from there.
It's
middle
like when
way
she meets
point.
Dane, that's when it starts.
Yeah, it really starts going
And
kind of balls to the wall. It's so good.
So that was our wrap up for The Cruel Prince. Did enjoy, highly recommend. Go give it a read. It's by Holly Black.
Yeah, definitely read the series and let us know what you think. Comment below, like this video, and subscribe if you liked our video.
Yeah, and we'll catch you later.
Bye bye.